All right, Mr. Keith Thurman calling out Emmanuel Dappertran Pacquiao. Look, Thurman calling out Pacquiao. Okay, I think I need to change like our channel name to like I don't know, Truth Be Told, or maybe like the Truth Seekers, just something, because like you guys, I get notifications and I click on them. If it's boxing related, I'm like, oh, okay, Thurman calling out Pacquiao, whatever. So immediately, I mean, it's like I wake up today and there's a video in my notification. So I watch it from another channel, and, here we go. Pacquiao ducking Keith Thurman, right? Sorry, my screen flipped there. Pacquiao ducking Keith Thurman right here. Thurman's official Twitter account. He's just basically, he did an interview with TMZ Sports, and saying that, I'm ready to put hands on him and show the world who one time Thurman truly is. Hashtag one time, right? Okay, now, I mean, where do I begin? Okay, basically, Thurman is upset that he's holding two belts and Pacquiao is only holding one. Keith Thurman 28-0, holding the WBC and the WBA, and then Manny Pacquiao holding the WBO, I believe. Yeah, the WBO. Okay, so and he just won the WBO off of Jesse Vargas. Now, if you remember that belt, just to give you a quick little timeline on it, basically Pacquiao had it back in 2014, 15, something like that. Lost to Mayweather. Then Mayweather won the belt, the WBO, during that fight. And then he vacates. Bradley wins it. Then Bradley vacates so he can take the Pacquiao fight. Then they have the vacant WBO fight between Saddam Ali and Jesse Vargas. And then Bradley beats Vargas, gets the belt back. And then Bradley vacates to fight, or no, then Bradley fights Pacquiao, and then Pacquiao wins the belt again, so it's back to its rightful owner. So this is that belt, okay, that has been passed around from Pacquiao to Mayweather to Jesse Vargas to Bradley, and now back to Manny Pacquiao. So that's Pacquiao's legitimate belt. Now Keith Thurman. Now here's what you have to remember, okay? Like I said, Thurman 28-0, WBC and the WBA. Okay, the WBA, he won that. It was for an interim fight, and I believe it was during the Collazo fight. Basically Keith Thurman wins that interim bout, and now he is. And you guys don't know what an interim belt is. Keith Thurman was the WBA interim belt holder. Basically, that means that's your ticket to a mandatory fight. When you have that belt, it doesn't mean you're a champion or you've done anything really special. It just means that you beat this guy and now you deserve a shot at the full champ. Well, here's the problem at that time. Because I believe Mayweather had the belt and the WBA considered Mayweather the full champion. Well, Mayweather retires, so the WBA elevates, keyword, elevates Keith Thurman to the WBA full champion. You have three versions: the interim, the regular, and the super. Okay, so, or, when I say full, regular, whatever. So now Keith Thurman is the regular WBA, and then, of course, he won the WBC from Danny Garcia. So realistically, Garcia has one belt, is my point. So, Danny Garcia, he's saying, well, wait a minute, why am I ranked number 2 and Pacquiao's ranked number 1 when I'm the lineal champ? I have 2 belts. And it's like, well, hold up, dude, hit the brakes, because yeah, you have 2 belts, but you were basically given one of them, and yes, you did fight for it in an interim bout, and then you were elevated, but that doesn't really count. It doesn't count. You can't just say, I'm the real belt holder. You just can't do that. So in my eyes, each guy, both of them, they have one belt. Okay. So, again, when you watch these other channels, they don't tell you the other half of the story, and there's always another half, and that is the other half. Each guy has one belt, okay? So, Okay, official Twitter account, Boxer Keith Thurman, right here, Junior, unified welterweight. Yes, he's unified, but again, technically in my mind, he has only earned one of those belts. Okay, I mean the other fights, like the Luis Colazo and Robert Guerrero. I think right around Guerrero is when he was elevated to the regular champion. I mean those were just coming up regular fights. I mean that wasn't. I don't know. In my mind, that look the WBA, they make it so confusing for people. It's kind of and I think they wanted to do like some kind of elimination tournament, kind of like the Super Six back in the day when Andre Ward did it, and it's such a clusterfuck that sanctioning body, and really they do it to make money. But moving on. Okay, look, here's the thing. What these guys forget to mention. Okay, and I'll get to that pound for pound list in a minute and explain that. But again, these other channels are basically, accusing Manny Pacquiao of ducking Keith Thurman, right? Well, I don't know if I buy that because they had the negotiations for the Amir Khan fight. I think in Pacquiao's mind, that's the fight they were going to get. They were going to get that Manny Pacquiao fight, or the I'm sorry, the Amir Khan fight. But then they end up with this guy here, Jeff Horn, because the negotiations fell through. And due to his Senate duties and so forth, I think they just had to take this fight. Yeah, I mean, because I don't think they want to just throw together a Keith Thurman fight, or anything like that. So, and really, I think, in Bob Arum's eyes, and even probably Pacquiao's eyes, Thurman, yeah, sure, he's one of the top three, top four welterweights in the world right now. But I think he needs one more fight to prove it. He beat Porter and he beat Garcia. Let's how about he takes on maybe like the winner of Brooks Spence and then go after Manny Pacquiao. So and a lot of people here, like, I like this guy's comment here. And this was just under Keith Thurman. He says, at Keith Thurman, calling out a guy pushing 40 on the edge of retirement, not 50% of what he was. Fight the young lions in your own era, winner of Spence Brook. He's basically saying, why are you calling out Pacquiao? And then not only that, why do you get loud after Manny Pacquiao has signed a contract? So again, this is the other half that these guys aren't telling you. Keith Thurman, he starts, making all these noises and, basically calling out Manny after, he signed a contract with Jeff Horn. But, and another thing that they do not mention to you is the fact that Thurman is constantly calling out Mayweather. I mean, you can look it up right here. Here we go. June or July 9th, 2015. Undefeated knockout specialist Keith Thurman one time. Ripped into Floyd Mayweather. It just. I mean, look, December 13th, right there. July 2nd, 2015. And here's the thing. If you look at this article here, Keith Thurman calls out Manny Pacquiao. I want the fight. Okay, but what's funny, the related articles, Keith Thurman, beats bloodied Luis Colazo, calls out Mayweather, but these other channels, they don't report that. They don't report that Thurman has been just calling out Mayweather left and right. I think he just recently started, really calling out Manny Pacquiao. And of course, these channels are all over it. And if you want to watch, that interview he did, it was on TMZ Sports. So you can go over there and check it out. But my point is, it's like this selective reporting. It's like they don't want to report that, he's calling out Mayweather. But the minute, Pacquiao comes out of his mouth, they're all over it, And look, I like Keith Thurman. I understand how he feels right now, and really, and this is what he's referring to. Let me see if I can find it real quick. He's referring to the ESPN article. Yeah, check out my rankings within each division by clicking on the links below. If there is a lineal champion in a weight class, he is, basically automatically ranked number one. Well, Keith Thurman is like, hey, Pacquiao's got the WBO. I have the WBC, WBA. I'm a lineal champion. Why am I not number one? So you can see here, it's kind of like, okay, he says it right here, ranked, if you're a lineal champ, you are automatically ranked number one, but yet Thurman is ranked number two on the ESPN pound for pound list. And really most pound for pound list out there, they have Thurman at, at either one or two, usually two. I mean, I've seen like a couple, like independent lists where they have them at number one, but those are, sites like I just mentioned or referred to that have like selective reporting. So, and if you go here, you can go to the WBA, like I said, and I was curious, like, well, who is the current WBA champion? Because Thurman was the interim champion, and then he was elevated to that full version. Well, right now, of course, they have Thurman, but like I said, it was Mayweather. He was considered the super champion until he retired, and then basically, they need a new star. The WBA, they need to keep that check coming in, they need to keep that money coming in, so they elevated Keith Thurman to their full champion. So that's what they do. I mean, these sanctioning bodies, like they live. I mean, they've got to have champions and unification fights and title fights because they make a ton of money because these guys have to pay outrageous fees. I mean, I've heard, you're in the tens of thousands of dollars, $80,000, $90,000, $100,000, or they get a percentage like for the Mayweather Pacquiao fight. I mean, these sanctioning bodies got like millions of dollars. So, of course, they want to promote their champions, and so they're going to elevate someone just to hurry the process. But what happens is, this is what happens right here. Then there's a lot of confusion. You've got a guy with two belts like strapped around his waist, and you're wondering, well, why isn't he number one? He's the only unified champion in that division. Well, it's because the WBA, it does a bunch of bullshit basically, and they just hand people belts without an actual title fight, without the best fighting the best. They just say, here you go, you're the new champion. You put a little bow on it, put it in the mail. You wake up one day, check your mail. Oh, hey, I'm a champion. I mean, that's pretty much how it goes. So that's why, right now these guys are arguably number one. They're neck and neck, Pacquiao and Thurman. And really we don't know. We need to see the Brooks Spence. After that matchup, then. I think it's up in the air between the winner of Brook and Spence and Pacquiao Thurman. Those are your top three: Pacquiao, Thurman, and the winner of Brook Spence. So, and now and look, getting to the Jeff Horn situation, I don't like it. I really don't. But I think that they went with that because the Amir Khan negotiations fell through. That's what I truly believe. Pacquiao 59-6-2. You got to think. I mean, he's been up against what, three top tens, maybe arguably nothing but top tens. I mean, you look at his last fight, Jesse Vargas. Okay, like I said, Vargas won that WBO during the Saddam Ali fight, right? Okay, then Bradley. Remember the third Pacquiao Bradley fights, and that's what I just mentioned. That was for the vacant WBO. Okay, before that Mayweather, and arguably he won that fight. Although he took an L for it, there's a lot of people out there that say Manny Pacquiao won and he got robbed, or it should have been a draw, or it was just like too close to even call, it was too boring to call, it was a letdown, whatever it may be. And actually, I'd like to revisit that fight. I mean, I still have my original scorecard. I'd like to make a video and tell you guys what I think happened during that fight. Before that, Chris Algieri, remember he had beaten Provodnikov, and then Bradley, Rios, Marquez, Bradley again. Pacquiao taking the two losses in 2012 against Marquez, that devastating knockout, and then of course the Timothy Bradley robbery. So when you look at his record, Manny has been up against nothing but top 10. So I can understand how he is at number one. You got a young, hungry Vargas at that time. I think he was a threat to Pacquiao. Pound for pound welterweight champ Timothy Bradley. I mean, he's on everybody's pound for pound list. So again, another great fight. Mayweather, a lot of people think Manny won. Okay, then and like I said, you got Algieri, which was a mandatory at the time because he beat Ruslan Provodnikov. So, and then like I said, Bradley and Rios and Marquez. I think the only really bullshit fight in between would be Rios. But Pacquiao was coming back from a devastating knockout in 2012 right into the Brandon Rios fight. It's kind of a test the water type fight. So, you really got to just look at things a little deeper, and you got to do your own research and your own homework, because if you just basically listen to what these other channels tell you, then he's ducking or Pacquiao is ducking Thurman, which I don't think he is. I really don't. I think a lot of the problem is this man right here. I really do. I think Bob Arum, you know, I don't know what he's doing. I really don't. Well, I know what he's doing. He's cashing in on Manny Pacquiao, is what he's doing. Like I said, he merged with Top Rank, merged with Jeff Horn's promotional company, Duco Promotions, the Australian promotion company, and basically in return they offered Bob Arum and Pacquiao a ton of money to take the Jeff Horn fight. So that's what you have here. You have a business deal and Manny Pacquiao being used as a pawn, and then I've even heard like conspiracy theories that, well, maybe, and again, I keep it real on the channel. I keep it fair. I've heard that, well, maybe the whole Amir Khan thing was just like a smokescreen to say, oh, well, hey, we tried to put a good fight together, we couldn't, so we got to take Jeff Horn. We don't have enough time to prepare, for a Keith Thurman or someone like that. We're obligated to take a Jeff Horn. And a lot of people are saying, well, isn't that convenient, right? Well, isn't that convenient, that fell through, and now, oh, you're obligated to take a Jeff Horn fight, because that's, so I don't know, you can make of it what you will. My personal opinion, I think Pacquiao wanted the Amir Khan fight, because, but I think Pacquiao, he is fading. Okay, I mean, he's pushing 40, right? And I think that, in his heart, he really wants to fight the best. But, I mean, life goes on, right? I mean, he's a senator now. He's a family man. He's evolving as a man, as a human being. So I think, but then again, his passion is boxing. So he's really torn right now, is what I think. I mean, personally, that's what I think. But, then people say, hey, you know what? If you're not going to fight the best and you have nothing left to prove, you need to get out of the game. If you're just doing it for money or because you feel obligated, then it's time to go. And I agree with that. I do. So, but I am going to give Manny Pacquiao a pass on the Jeff Horn fight. I'm not going to support it. I'm not going to say, oh yeah, I like it. It's a good fight, because it's not. It's a terrible fight. It's a bullshit fight, and I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I don't even want to watch it, to be honest with you. But on the other hand, I'm also patient. I mean, boxing, you got to be patient. These guys fight, one, two, three times a year, typically 2 or 3 times a year. So, if you're going to be a boxing fan, it requires a lot of patience. So I'm going to wait and see what they do next. Now I'll tell you, I will say this. Let me end on this. Okay. Yeah, if Manny Pacquiao, after the Jeff Horn fight, if he goes in and takes, another cupcake like this, then yeah, I'm done. It's like, it's time to go, Pac. You know what I mean? And you can't, what I'm saying? Like, if he doesn't take a Terrence Crawford or a Thurman, something like that, then it's time to hang it up. It's time to hang him up. So, I mean, I'm just being honest with you guys. So, yeah, that's what we're at. That's where we're at here. I just wanted to share that with you guys. Thurman calling out Manny Pacquiao. But again, the double standard. He's been calling out Mayweather forever, claiming he's a unified champion, but realistically, he's not. Like I said, the WBA, that doesn't count in my mind, but the WBC does. I mean, just to kind of recap everything. But anyway, guys, so check it out real quick before I go. Okay, so, look, I have never, ever, 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 ever been like a big fan of Twitter, but apparently I need to become more active on Twitter, because with your press credentials and your media stats, you have to have you have to be doing some things on Twitter. So I've always devoted all my energy to Facebook and interviews and cover, just reporting, really writing articles, YouTube, stuff like that. So if you guys could please go over to Twitter and follow us it's at Counterpunch BT. So Counterpunch Boxing Talk at Counterpunch BT. And then of course over here on Facebook, we got the group, which is a great group. In my opinion, it is the best boxing group on Facebook. And we have, a little over 4,000 members. But here's the thing, we have earned each and every member. See, here's the post that is put up. Thurman says he's the only welterweight holding 2 WCB belt, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, anything I make a video about, you guys can come over to the group and we have like an in-depth conversation about it. So, where we really break it down. So, Yeah, come on over there and check it out. Oh yeah, we got that Sean Porter Berto fight coming up, so I'll make a prediction video about that too and tell you what I think is going to happen with that fight. So, but yeah, guys, like I said, it's a good group. Come over, check it out. Here you go. Here's a double knockout. Watch this. Here, I think it's coming. Boom. By the way, when there is a double knockout, it's considered a no contest. I mean, there's a lot of people out there, saying, well, what happens? Who wins? Is it a draw? Is it, a lot of people said they go to the judges' scorecards and almost like it's like a 12th round, like, they just go to, they call it a decision. But that's not true. It's a no contest. It's basically 0-0-1 on your record being a no contest. So here, somebody just posted this. Andre Ward, Sergey Kovalev, desperate, panicking, and lying. Oh, okay, all right, Andre. But yeah, I got some good videos for you coming. Some new Chavez Canelo information. And here's the thing, guys. I'm sorry I keep dragging it on, but there's like so much to go over. I'm going to start putting out a lot of just quick, short videos, and I usually try to keep it to like one a day, maybe two a day, but I'm going to just kind of crank them out, just three, four, six, seven a day, because there's so much to cover, and I always like try to cram it into one video. And so in the future, I think I'm just going to chop it up and make them a little bit shorter. But all right, guys, like, share, subscribe. We are making a difference, and we will take over YouTube boxing.